Hello, friends, and welcome to the Win Streaks preview and prediction of all 32 NFL teams for the upcoming 2017 season. Over the next few weeks, I will be covering all 32 teams, so please subscribe on YouTube or the podcast platform you're listening on so you don't miss an episode. My name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. That is CoreyFoister. Follow on social media. Twitter at Winstreak News, Facebook.com/TheWinstreak, TheWinstreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Soaring Jets Production. If you're listening on YouTube right now, drop me a comment below and let me know what you think the Seattle Seahawks are going to do this season. Contact us at either soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com or thewinstreak.com/contact. Join our fantasy football league. You can find out more information about that on our social media page. Top 10 Super Bowl matchups we want to see is now live. And if this is the first time you've ever heard of the Win Streak, we're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud. We're all over the place, so please check us out. We do a weekly wrap-up show. Me and my co-host, Brandon Myers, we talk football, basketball, hockey, baseball, and college sport. We have a great time doing it. We have a lot of fun doing it. We hope you'll laugh with us and not at us, but if you're laughing at us, then oh well, at least we're entertaining you, so please check that out as well. Today I am doing episode 31 of my NFL 2017 preview series, the 2017 Seattle Seahawks. This is Seattle's 42nd season in the NFL, the 8th under head coach Pete Carroll. General manager is John Snyder, and Paul Allen is the owner. Paul Allen just recently founded the Indianapolis, the USS Indianapolis, so that is pretty cool. Paul Allen, he made his money with Microsoft, kind of a local kid in Seattle, so Paul Allen has done a lot of good. I was a big Tech TV fan, and he was the one that founded that. I was sad to see him, let Tech TV go, and it went totally to hell, but at the same time, it's cool to see that Paul Allen has done some good, even though he killed Tech TV. Damn you. The Seattle Seahawks finished 10-5-1 in 2016, good for first in the NFC West. They won the wild card game against the Lions 26-6, lost divisional round game to the Falcons 20-36. 7 Pro Bowlers in 2016. On October 23rd, the team played the Arizona Cardinals in a game that ended in a 6-6 tie. The Seattle Seahawks' first tie in franchise history, and I believe it was the lowest scoring tie ever in NFL history as well. Seattle Seahawks claimed their third division title of the NFC West in the last 4 years. Arizona Cardinals being the only other team that had won it in the last 4 years. Went 3-4 on the road and 7-1 at home. It's been well documented that it's extremely hard and extremely loud at the stadium in Seattle. They have one Super Bowl championship, came very close to having another one. They won, of course, Super Bowl XLVIII in 2013 in the New Jersey/New York Super Bowl. 3 conference championships, 2005, 2013, and 2014. Of course, beating the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl in 2013, but losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2005, and the New England Patriots in a heartbreaker in 2014. 10 division championships overall, 16 playoff appearances overall. The Seattle Seahawks are the only NFL franchise based in the Pacific Northwest region of North America. I had to get that out there for a minute. The Seattle fans have been referred to collectively as the 12th man. Seahawks fans have twice set the Guinness World Record for the loudest crowd noise at a sporting event. Pretty impressive. The Seattle Seahawks are the first and only post-merger expansion team to play in consecutive Super Bowls. Forbes ranks the Seattle Seahawks as the 25th most valuable franchise in the world. Once again, really impressive as well for that. Franchise what if? What if the Seattle Seahawks had drafted Andy Dalton in 2011? General manager John Snyder reportedly was ready to pick Dalton over with the 25th pick before the team decided to go with offensive lineman James Carpenter. How would have Dalton fared in Seattle? Would Dalton have won the starting job as a rookie like Russell Wilson did? How far would a Dalton-led Seahawks team have gotten? Dalton has yet to win a playoff game with the Cincinnati Bengals, and I say the Seattle Seahawks made the right choice when it came to Dalton or Russell Wilson. And also, not to throw salt into the wound here, but what if the Seattle Seahawks ran the ball in the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 49, not the 49ers, but Super Bowl 49? You would probably be looking at the Seattle Seahawks being the first team since the New England Patriots in 2003-2004 to repeat as Super Bowl champions. Preseason schedule for the Seattle Seahawks at LA to play the now Los Angeles Chargers, home for the Vikings and the Chiefs, and at Oakland to play the Oakland Raiders, and they get to say hi to Marshawn Lynch, who is now playing for the Oakland Raiders. My 2017 outlook for the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots are the only two teams in the NFL to have won at least one playoff game in each of their last 5 seasons. The Seahawks had a few departures from last season on a roster that lost in the divisional round to the Atlanta Falcons. They added an 11-man draft class and augmented the roster with a few free agent signings that addressed a few areas of concern over the offseason, I should say. I apologize. I've been recording a bunch of these podcasts and my voice is just giving out before I can finish these sentences. Of course, you had in the offseason Richard Sherman leaving some uncertainty, talking about, certain things, and kind of, there might be some tension there. The Seattle Seahawks did play around with maybe getting rid of Richard Sherman, trading him to another team, but hey, he's still on the team. He's still a pretty good corner, not the corner he was 3 years ago, but still a rock-solid corner. But can the Seahawks still win a division and make a deep playoff run despite any potential lingering issues like with Richard Sherman? Of course, they managed to win a division again last season in the midst of all what was happening with Sherman. But, there's it's going to be a lot difficult, I believe, in the NFC West. The 49ers are going to get better, but they're not going to stand in the Seahawks' way. You have the Cardinals that have a potential to be a sleeper team and possibly bounce back. I don't see it happening. I think asking Palmer and a bunch of the veterans to bounce back to peak form is just going to be too much, but you never know. Biggest positive change for me was the selection of 4 defensive back among the 11th draft picks in the NFL draft. The Seahawks infused youth talent into their secondary depth. They added Shaquille Griffin, Tedrick Thompson, D'Angelo Hill, and Mike Tyson gives the Seattle young depth that can contribute immediately on special team and push starters Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor for playing time in the coming years. So I really like what they did. The rest of the group provides potentially more stable options as backup. Should a player like Thomas Caliber be lost for the season again as it was in December? The drop in ability from Thomas to backup Stephen Terrell was substantial and significantly lessened Seattle's defensive might. Biggest negative change for me, the kicker had some issues last year in Seattle. Stephen Hauschka, I believe is his name. I can never pronounce that right. The Seahawks now seem destined to rely upon a career reinsurgent from Blair Walsh. Walsh, who helped the Seahawks win a playoff game in Minnesota 2 years ago by missing a 27-yard field goal at the end of regulation for the Vikings, now joined the Seahawks in an effort to get his career back on track. Walsh was released by the Vikings last year after 9 games into the season after missing eight. That is 8 field goals, 4 field goals, or I take that back, eight. There's 4 field goals, 4 extra points of his 25 kicks on the year. Hashka had a problem with low kicks as 5 of his 10 missed kicks were blocked. Walsh has a big leg and earned a Pro Bowl trip as a rookie. However, what he can bring to the table now is uncertain. Pete Carroll has the job in Seattle as long as he wants it, given the run of success he's had under his tenure as head coach. The Seattle Seahawks were not a team on the map, not a team that you would talk about having Super Bowl aspirations until Pete Carroll got them there, because before that they had only been to the Super Bowl back in 2005. He's got them back there twice. They almost repeated as Super Bowl champions, something that hasn't been done since Bill Belichick and Tom Brady did that in 2003 and 2004. Like I said, he's the first guy to bring a championship to the city of Seattle. Not only the Vince Lombardi, but this trophy or a championship in general to Seattle. So his job is safe. And really, the Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion, should be right back in the NFC West and in the playoffs. They should easily win that division because besides the Cardinals, I can't imagine anybody else in that division giving the Seahawks a hard time. It's a really weak division, which is really mind-blowing because if you think a couple years ago, the NFC West was the toughest division in football. Seahawks regular season game-by-game prediction. The Seahawks have 4 primetime games this season. Colts on Sunday Night Football, at Arizona on Thursday Night Football, Falcons on Monday Night Football, and Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Worst case, best case scenario, as always, September, or for the schedule here, we'll go through it, September 10th, and once again, I apologize. I know I'm completely falling apart doing 32 of these previews, like my mind is just ready to go here. So I got one more to do after this, so hopefully I can hold it together. So let's go. September 10th at Green Bay to play the Green Bay Packers. Really hard to play in Lambeau Field. I give the edge to the Packers. I say it will be a pretty close game, but I say the Seattle Seahawks will start the season with an L. September 17th, home to play the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think I have to say anything here. The San Francisco 49ers, the worst has already happened. They are on the rebound, but this is going to be a brutal season for the 49ers. I like their new head coach, Kyle Shanahan. I like the GM hiring. I like what they did in the NFL draft, but they're not going to beat the Seattle Seahawks the first year. They are still a tire fire that has been extinguished, but it still just smells of burning tires. So give me the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle over the San Francisco 49ers. September 24th at Tennessee to play the Tennessee Titans. I believe the Tennessee Titans are going to take a leg up and make it into the AFC playoffs this season. Worst case scenario, you lose this game. Best case scenario, you should still beat the Tennessee Titans. Marcus Mariota is good. It's going to be tough because it's in Tennessee. The Seattle Seahawks are not as good at home or on the road as they are at home. So I say at worst you go into October 1-2. At best you are 2-1. October 1st, home to play the Indianapolis Colts. There's question, will Andrew Luck play the first 8 games of the regular season? He might not play at all. Even if Andrew Luck plays, there's some questions about that offensive line. So give me the Seattle Seahawks best case, worst case scenario for the Seattle Seahawks getting a win here. October 8th at Los Angeles to play the Los Angeles Rams. Give me the Seattle Seahawks in that game as well. I just don't like Jared Goff. I don't think they did get Sammy Watkins. They're going to be a better team. I'd hope they'd be a better team. They got rid of Jeff Fisher. They added on to that offense. So, gosh, you would hope that they would have to be somewhat better. If they're not better this season, then, well, Los Angeles football might already be dead. And then you have a bye, and then October 22nd at New York. I say that the Seattle Seahawks will lose this game to the New York Giants. It's like I said, a game, a traveling game. It is in New Jersey, across the country. The Giants are no joke. I really like them adding Brandon Marshall. They have Odell Beckham on the other side of the field. Eli Manning, they improved their tight end position. They got still a pretty stellar defense that they're going to depend to take them back into the playoffs. I say it will be a close game, but I think that the New York Giants will beat the Seattle Seahawks October 29th, home to play the Houston Texans. If there is one game that the Seahawks, the 12th man, should be afraid of for home games, it's the game against the Texans. Worst case scenario, you lose this game, a very close, tight game with that number one defense from last year beating the Seattle Seahawks. But best case scenario, the Texans, just like the Seahawks, when they go on the road, they're just not as good. So I say, push come to shove, it's going to be a very close game. It could come down to just 1 or 3 points, just a field goal winning this game. I say give me the Seattle Seahawks in that game. Going into November, at worst you are 3-4, at best you are 5-2. November 5th, home for the Washington Redskins. I say that is a win. Washington Redskins, they lost some of their receivers. They downgraded the offense. Their defense is still pretty decent, but give me the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle against the Washington Redskins. The Redskins are, of course, going to have to travel all the way to Seattle, and I like Kirk Cousins, but I just don't like the supporting cast around Kirk Cousins. November 9th at Arizona to play on Thursday Night Football. Give me the win for the Seattle Seahawks in that game as well. November 20th, Falcons, like I said, with the Texans also. Falcons and the Texans are going to be the two hardest teams to come into Seattle. And I say definitely if you don't lose to the Texans, you will lose to the Falcons. I say the Falcons, they'll either have a Super Bowl loss hangover like the Carolina Panthers did last year, or more likely, in my opinion, I think they'll go on a revenge tour and make it back to at least the playoff, maybe push all the way to the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl. So give me the Atlanta Falcons in a very close game. It could possibly be Falcons versus Seahawks. Could be the best Monday Night Football game we get this season. It would not surprise me one bit. November 26th at San Francisco to play the San Francisco 49ers. I believe the Seattle Seahawks will sweep the San Francisco 49ers, like I mentioned before. 49ers, they're going to be tough. They're going to look good once again, but they're garbage for right now. They still have a lot of work to do, but there is light at the end of a very long tunnel for the 49er faithful. Going into December, at worst you are 6-5, at best you are 8-3. December 3rd, home for the Philadelphia Eagles. I like Carson Wentz. I like what the Eagles are doing. I just don't think they're good enough to beat Seattle at home, so give me Seattle with the W there. December 10th at Jacksonville Jaguars. Who knows about Bortles? Blake Bortles looks awful in these preseason games. Granted, it's just preseason, but we've seen a lot of ugliness from Blake Bortles. I think he is a bust. I think it's pretty much almost safe to say. And by now, if he is doing awful and the Jags are out of the playoff, there's not really a reason for the Jaguars to play. The Seattle Seahawks are going to probably be playing for a first round bye, in the playoffs. So give me the Seattle Seahawks on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. December 17th, home for the Los Angeles Rams. That is a W for the Seahawks. December 24th at Dallas to play the Dallas Cowboys. I say that is a loss. That is probably the toughest game you play in December. Cowboys are going to be probably they could possibly be looking for a first round bye. trying to win the NFC East or get a wild card spot, because the Giants, I believe, are going to make a lot of noise this year as well. December 31st, you finish the regular season at home against the Arizona Cardinals. It could come down. That could be the final Sunday night football game determining who wins the NFC West. But I think the Seattle Seahawks will already have that division wrapped up. I just don't believe that Larry Fitzgerald and Carson Palmer can play at peak form yet again. I say this is the final game Carson Palmer probably plays, unless somehow they get a wild card spot or win a division. But give me the Seattle Seahawks winning the NFC West. So best case scenario for the Seattle Seahawks in 2017 is 12-4. Worst case scenario, 10-6. My final prediction, 11-5. I think that the Seattle Seahawks are definitely good enough to go 11-5, because you look at tough games here. 1, Packers. 2, Titans. September is going to be a pretty brutal month for the Seattle Seahawks, but then it gets a lot easier. You have just really the Giants and the Texans in October, and then the Falcons in November, and then the Cowboys. So you got about 6 tough games. I say you could probably split here, but they got a lot of easy games. They got 2 against the 49ers, 2 against the Rams. You got the Colts, who probably might be without Andrew Luck. You got the Washington Redskins. Who knows what the Cardinals are? I could honestly see the Seattle Seahawks going 6-0 and sweeping that division, and that gets you 6 wins right there. And the Eagles, you get to play on at home. If they're playing at Philly, that could be kind of a tough game, but I like the Seattle Seahawks at home in that game. At Jaguars might be one of the worst teams in the AFC. If Bortles doesn't get it together or Chad Henne can't save the season for them. So yeah, I really like the Seattle Seahawks. I'd be completely surprised if the Seattle Seahawks are not back in the playoff as division champions, hosting at least one game wild card weekend, if not even more, getting a first round bye. So I say the Seattle Seahawks will be right back in it. The only question is, are they good enough to beat the Cowboys, the Giants, the Packers, the Buccaneers, and the Atlanta Falcons? Because those are probably going to be the 5 teams you got to get past to make it into the NFC Championship and also go back to the Super Bowl. So anyway, my name is Corey Foister. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Corey Foister. Follow the show on social media, Twitter at Winstreak News, Facebook.com/TheWinstreak, TheWinstreak.com. Leave a review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Soaring Jets Productions. Contact us at either soaringjetsproductions@gmail.com or thewinstreak.com/contact. If you're listening on YouTube right now, what do you think the Seattle Seahawks record will be in 2017? Also, join our fantasy football league. You can find out more information about that on our official website. Top 10 Super Bowl matchups we want to see is now live. I'm about to lose my voice, but once again, remember that to check out the Win Streaks weekly wrap-up show with me and my co-host Brandon Myers. We have a great time on there. Laugh with us or at us. We just have a blast. We hope you check it out. A lot of fun things planned. We always talk football, college sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer. We have a great time on there. So please check us out. And until next time, hopefully I can get my voice back and not sound as bad. And keep winning, everybody. And go 12th man in the Seattle Seahawks.